Now, sadly, in the last couple of weeks, we've seen a number of reports about chemical attacks in the news, including, obviously, the awful attack on the mother and 2 children in Clapham, and other incidents in Ramsgate, Basingstoke, and one on the London bus.
Thankfully, these attacks are rare, but they're on the rise. And last year, there was 69% increase across England and Wales.
Yeah, so Dr Nighat's here with some words of advice about all types of chemical burns which could happen outside or inside the home. And it's important not to panic here, I think, isn't it? Like, we're seeing these news reports, but these cases are obviously, you know, happen few and far between.
And they are rare, but the scary thing is that they're more common from sort of women being attacked, and so this tragic case of the mother and the 2 daughters.
Yeah.
And sometimes you can be left with life-changing injuries and scarring that can be debilitating. We know Katie Piper, our dear friend, has done lots around this. And the most important thing is raising awareness, because there are so many simple things that you can do as a bystander to help straight away.
What are those things?
So really quickly, if ever you see someone that's been attacked, firstly is obviously make sure that they're OK. The substance that they've been attacked with, it's important to know, because you might not immediately know that it's going to be corrosive or alkali, what type it is straight away.
Yeah.
And the advice at the moment is try and get water. If everything else is OK, you're safe, try and get yourself safe first with some gloves or some form of protection that you've got. If it's a dry powder on the skin, try and get some cloth to rub away some of the powder and get the water on as quick as possible to wash it away.
Water.
Water.
Irrespective of whether it's acid or alkaline, doesn't it?
Yeah, irrespective of what type, because you don't know immediately in those situations, but you need to wash that substance away, making sure that you're not washing it onto the rest of the body or it's not pooling on the skin. So it's free-flowing water, which is lukewarm or tepid. So if you want, you can use just your elbows just to make sure it can't be ice cold, and just get that on them. But the key thing is the length of time, because people just put a little bit on for a while. It's at least 20 minutes, and that could be the changes between cooling the skin down and leaving a permanent scar, life-changing injuries, to the fact that they get sort of even just a small or mild injury afterwards.
I didn't realise it needed to be lukewarm. I just thought water,
Sure.
In whatever form. In fact, there was a hose.
No, not cold.
Or something like that. Really?
Because if it's really ice cold, it could actually perpetuate that burning sensation even further. So you need to make sure it's cool. So that's the word that we use, or lukewarm. And I would say, as you would do if you had your baby in the bath. So you want to make sure that you're checking with your elbow or the back of your hand, because it's that cooling sensation, and washing it for 20 minutes at least.
Because, like we said, these are, you know, the attacks are on the rise, but they are very isolated, right? Yeah. So more often than not, what we're talking about here will be stuff that happens in the home. So
yeah, and these chemicals are in the home,
exactly.
aren't they?
Yeah.
So what sort of things?
So you're looking at, there's lots of chemicals. I was having a think at my house, and I was thinking, well, everything's locked away, but we're looking at bleaches, sulfuric acid, hydrochloric acid. You could also be looking at window cleaners, cosmetic stuff, hair dyes. Right. There's so many different things that have, say, parabens, etc., that can cause a burning sensation. Electrical appliances, you can get a chemical burn. Kettles, hot tea, all of those situations, or even just getting your children or yourself into the bath and not checking the temperature beforehand, can scald the skin. So there are so many places where you could end up getting burns, and it's that immediate reaction of firstly recognising it's a burn and getting it under cool water to calm down that sensation of burning. Because sometimes you might not have something to see, but it's actually, if the substance is still there, it can burn away. And say you've got something in your eye, the eye doesn't have its sort of replenishment straight away. So, in fact, you need to be getting the eye open and water to wash away that corrosive, because you could be left with permanent damage like vision loss.
what if you're out and about and this happens? So, you know, if you're in the home, you can turn on the tap, you get the lukewarm water set, and then you just, you know, you get your kids or your arm underneath the tap.
Yeah.
What if you're out and about?
If you're out and about, then this is what we saw a lot. Bystanders can do so much, is that get bottled water. So if you're near a convenience store, you know, explain there's been an acid or chemical attack or whatever you need, and trying to get the water onto the person as quickly as possible. Removing clothing, if you can, not remove it over their head. If there's jewellery, trying to take some of that off. We always say basic resuscitation, make sure that they're breathing OK, because they're going to be in a state of shock. You'll be in a state of shock as well. Getting rid of that corrosive chemical as much as possible, and then calling 999. Yeah. It is an emergency. This isn't something that you can just sort of watch or observe or reassure the person. 999, and the ambulance crew will get the person to a burns unit or a specialist, because it literally can be life-saving in regard to the injuries that they're getting.
What about cosmetic products? Can they be damaging to
So
yourself?
some cosmetic products can be. We always say test on a small patch first.
Do
if
a
you're
little
going to,
test.
yeah, like do a little test. And everybody's skin is very different and sensitive. They have some parabens or some sort of corrosive chemicals in them, and they vary depending on the type. Sometimes you've never known. And also, please follow the instructions for how long they say keep the cosmetic product. I'm thinking about hair dyes here. So there are certain particular hair dyes that they say cannot leave on longer for this period. So I know once I've had an unfortunate incident with my mother. She fell asleep with putting henna in her hair.
No.
And that's not great either. And that's a really important thing about henna, because black henna, although it looks really beautiful and we see it at fun fairs or parties, but actually they do have mixture of different chemicals on them that can bring that black colour to the pigmentation, but actually that can be quite corrosive to the skin.
I've
so
actually
be really
seen
careful.
somebody on holiday I remember going to Tunisia and they did that. And with the sunshine and everything, and they burnt their skin in the shape of the henna.
Yeah.
So they've got that permanent scar on the hand.
And the myth always is that actually I need to cool the skin down and put some butter on or some milk on straight away. No, water is what you need to be able to cool that skin down quickly.
OK, let's go to the signs and symptoms of a chemical burn. So if you happen upon something, or if your kid picks up something at home, what should you be looking for?
So firstly, it's going to be the person's going to say it's ouch, it's painful, something will appear on the skin. So if you're talking about hands or your limbs, etc. Then the other thing that you might notice is that instantly it's going to continue burning, and it's the layers of the skin that we're looking at that you're going through, because we do have 3 layers. We have the dermis, the epidermis, and then the subcutaneous fat. So we need to make sure that it doesn't get deeper, because we know that there are degrees of burns that you can get from 1st degree to 4th degree burns. 4th degree burns, you need severe, that they can be life-changing and even cost someone their life as well. You're also looking for, say, shortness of breath. They're panicking. You could also get confusion as well. You could end up finding that an infection can set on, especially if you're out and about in an area. Not always that these are going to happen in contained environments. So if you get bugs, etc. So those are the signs and symptoms that you look for. And even when the product is off, but they're still complaining of burning, you need to take that seriously. And that's why we say the length of time of 20 minutes of keeping running water away from that
and protect our kids
and protect your kids
so
as well.
many kids who are having burns in hospitals. It's unbelievable.
It's half term at the moment, so it's being vigilant. So keeping things locked up, making sure that you're not having hot products around, etc.
Thank you so much, Dr.
Thank you, Dr.